Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Mike Chua, physical therapist, certified dementia practitioner, and your alternative career coach. Welcome to our career healthcare podcast and show, where we talk about different ways to find your alternative career and achieve both work and financial freedom. So visit our website, drmikechua.com or alternativehealthcarecareers.com for more information. Again, thank you for watching and listening. Welcome to our show. Be awesome, be great, be excellent, ACG. Have a great day and enjoy the show. Bye-bye. Group. Again, this is Dr. Mike Chua, physical therapist and certified dementia practitioner. And yes, I am your alternative career coach. And tonight, I know it's just, we come in and out in our group, but we have a special guest for tonight. His name is Stephen Dunn. He is actually he's not a new coach. He's been coaching people left and right, but he has come in and actually joined us in our moderator team, our coaching team, for us to provide excellent value in our group here, because we've been getting a lot of questions, how to start your own Pilates thing, your yoga thing. No, I'm not the guy to ask Pilates. I can't even reach my toes. So if you have any questions or any wants to know what is Pilates, I actually met Stephen Dunn several times, talked to him several times. He's just an amazing person. He has his own clinic in Louisiana. It's in Louisiana, right?
I'm in Texas. I'm from Louisiana, but I'm in Texas.
There you go. That explains it. He has a clinic in Texas, and it's not just a regular clinic, guys. It's actually a Pilates clinic, and wherein they are charging cash, providing, awesome services, physical therapy concept and everything like that. So, before I pass the mic to Stephen, he's actually a physical therapist himself. So his alternative career is actually Pilates, and he's a certified orthopedic manual therapist. Gosh, that's an awesome title there. And he's actually a certified Pilates teacher. Imagine that. He's a teacher. I always tell you guys that, you got to learn how to teach. And then last, he is actually a certified GYROTONIC instructor. What does that mean? I mean, gyro means, maybe gyro. I'm gyrating my body. Oh, is it running around?
It's like spiral. And
really?
And tonic is a type tonic exercise. So it's a form of exercise that's fairly similar to Pilates and with this fancy equipment. But it's a little more like yoga, and it's a little more like yoga with resistance. But
wow,
it's very interesting and very different. I'm the only PT in the whole state that's certified in all of Texas. Texas is a pretty big state. The only PT in all of Texas, and I think there's one in Louisiana, and there's a handful of us out there. But it's not very well known, except for in the East Coast and the West Coast, LA, New York, things like that.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, let me turn off that screen sharing. I just wanted to show it to everybody, who is Stephen Dunn. He's our new alternative career coach that is coming over. So let me stop the share, and hopefully I'm sharing it with a gallery view and we're left and right here. So there you go. All right. So before we keep on going, for those people watching live, please comment live. We just want to know if you are watching live, because we just want to know, and see people in our group. And if you're watching replay, please comment replay, because we want to know if you're watching replay or not, if this is a valuable video or not. Well, anyway, so Stephen, tell us what you do, where you're from. What is it that what is it that we can learn from being a Pilates instructor? How did you find this alternative career? And just teach us, man. Teach us.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I'm originally from Athens, Georgia, when my folks were in school. I grew up in Louisiana, outside of New Orleans, and I ended up working a travel job when I graduated in '98. And so I got out with my master's in '98, got a travel job. And basically 10 weeks after I got out and started working, I got laid off because of the balanced budget act cuts that had went into place. And that was kind of my first lesson in like, whoa, like my job is not very secure. And so as everyone's kind of dealing with what's going on now with the Medicare changes, I dealt with it back in '98, and it was my first, immediately after getting out of school and getting my first gig. I lost that travel gig. They told me on a Tuesday that Friday was my last day. after 10 weeks of working. And I ended up sitting at home working, looking for jobs for about 8 months before I could find a job.
How
And I
many?
ended up moving 8 months.
8 months. Oh gosh. So for those people who are actually looking for a job, 8 months, man. I mean, I feel you. I wasn't even born 1998, man. So
yeah. And so after finding that job, and again, times were different. I wasn't there weren't online jobs. It was like, looking in the papers and faxing people.
Were there computer that day? I mean,
I had a computer, but it was not the same as they are now. And I paid a lot for that computer because I had a laptop because I was traveling. And boy, I really wish I could have sold that laptop for what the amount that I paid for it back in 1998. It was about $3,000 for something that really was pretty useless at the time. But anyway, so I worked for 10 weeks, got laid off, 8 months of looking for work. I got a job in Los Angeles, and I moved from New Orleans to Los Angeles. And I ended up working in a clinic where I was seeing about 25 people a day, and it was an HMO clinic. And I didn't know any different because it was my first job was in an inpatient rehab center. So this was like my first outpatient experience. And I was seeing a lot of patients, worked there for 2 years and realized that, man, this is not very fun. Got pretty burned out pretty quick and ended up taking another job that was like $5 more an hour that I thought was going to be better. And I went from about 25 people a day to about 45 to 50 people a day. And it was a workers' comp clinic that was completely, we'll just say completely fraudulent. And I was seeing so many people, and it was so bad. And it was really driving me crazy that I was like, this is where my profession is. No matter where I'm at, I hate it. And I'm just looking for the next job. And so here I was 2.5 years in of working, and I had my third job, and I was pretty displeased with all of them. And so I decided to open my own business because I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I started reading the book, and it started changing the way I was thinking about money and many things. It changed everything. And I decided, I went to my boss at the time, and I couldn't stand this job, but I said, hey, can I open my own business and have you start paying me as a 1099? And he said, and pay me a little more because you're not going to be dealing with taxes, et cetera. And he said, sure, that sounds great. And so for a few months, I stayed there. I was there for probably 4 to 5 months. And half of that time was when I had opened my business from reading the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and started basically getting a little bit of money into my business. And then after about 2.5 months of that, I couldn't take it anymore. And I'd secured a few contracts with my new contract business where I was going and working for a few companies that had multiple locations. And so I have my own business now, and I'm going, I don't want to see the amount of people that I was seeing before. So I'm willing to do anything to not do that. So they were like, will you go travel? Can we call you in 7 a.m. and send you to different locations that day? And I'm like, sure, but you're going to pay me this amount. So all of a sudden I was now making like quadruple the money that I was making my first 2 jobs. And because I was filling a need that they didn't have anyone else to do. And it was a really specific need where, hey, go to North Hollywood today. Hey, go to Burbank today. Hey, go to Mission Hills today. And I would just show up where they needed me because they were a big enough clinic that people were always calling in sick. So that was kind of my first experience of owning my own business. And it was a fun experience, but I wasn't really following up with anybody. I was doing evals. I was seeing lots of patients, but there was no continuation of care. There was just me helping this corporate company fill their need. And again, it was working for both of us at the time, but I was starting to lose a little bit of like, I really want to treat patients. I want to take them from eval to their goals. And that's when I started to get exposed to Pilates. And there's a good story that goes along with that. I was basically looking for a job, looking for a contract up in Lake Tahoe. And I had my business open in LA and doing contract work. And I was going to do a snowboard trip in Lake Tahoe. And in that time, I was looking for work. Basically, I wanted to write off my trip. I was learning all these tricks of writing things off. And if I spent a day looking for work, then all of a sudden a good chunk of that trip I was able to write it off. Well, I handed my resume out to about 10 clinics all around Lake Tahoe. Spent a whole day stopping in, saying, hey, if you need someone to help out for a week, a month, while you go on vacation, a weekend, I'm happy to come up from LA and do it. I don't have any ties in LA that would restrict me from doing this. Well, one guy called me up and he's like, hey, you have any Pilates and any experience in Pilates? And I just had no clue what that word was. I'd never heard it. I didn't know anything about it. And I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't. And he very politely said, thank you very much, and hung up. And I was like, what the heck is this word Pilates? And then the next, I don't know, about a month later, I'm out training for a half marathon in Santa Monica, and I see the word Pilates again. And it's right under a sign that says physical therapy. And I'm like, huh. So I'm looking in the window and I see all these funny looking machines. I had no idea what they were. And it was like a Pilates studio, but again, it was a physical therapy place as well. So I was going, this is kind of interesting. There must be some kind of need for Pilates in the physical therapy world, because I now have seen this guy hung up on me because I didn't know anything about it. And here it is, a place in LA that they're offering it. Well, that I went on my day. I finished my training for the marathon that day. And then a few weeks later, I'm looking in the New York Times, and there lies the same place I looked in the window of what is Pilates. They were looking for a PT. And it said, looking for a PT, Pilates experience, a plus. So I called them up, said, yeah, I don't have any Pilates experience, but I'm willing to learn, and I can help you out 2 days a week. And they said, great, let's start it. So I went over there and started working with them. And within that first week of working there, I was amazed with what these people were doing. These basically Pilates instructors, where they were being used as aides or assistants, not assistants. They weren't licensed, technicians or aides. And I was going, holy moly, this is really interesting. They're like using, like, instead of aides doing like hot packs and ultrasounds, they're like teaching them Pilates for an hour. And it was just a totally different concept. And there was no modalities. They just wanted me to do manual therapy, do evaluations, and then move people over to work with their trainers. Well, I really liked what I was seeing. I liked the whole concept. And so I got certified, and they helped me find a place in Santa Monica where I could get certified to basically learn how to teach it myself. And that was in 2002. So 2001, I opened my business in July. By 2002 in August, I was completely finished with my certification in Pilates. And that was kind of the start of it. And I knew I wanted to teach it to people. I wanted to evaluate and take them through the whole course of care. So I decided to go to the one place that I was working the most at. And I said, hey, instead of me bouncing around all over, can I use one of your break rooms? I'll buy the reformer. I'll teach on it. And they were HMO clinic. And I said, and I'll start building up some PPO business. And I want a percentage of that. And you can pay me this. And he's like, sure. If I can make money off of a break room that has like a TV in it, heck yeah. And that was kind of the start of how I took what I learned in Pilates, went to an established HMO clinic and said, how can I create a new revenue source for you? And actually I said, I have a plan to create a revenue source for you. I didn't ask him how, I told him how. And he said, let's do it. And before you know it, within 3 to 4 months, my schedule was packed, and I was making like thousands of dollars in my profit sharing per check, because of it was all income that I was bringing in. And it was really exciting because no longer was I getting a check and getting paid like, a certain amount per hour. I was getting paid a certain amount per hour, and then a percentage of all the money that I brought in. So that was my like, oh, this is actually fun. And I started to see that compounding interest of like, when I worked or when my wife Cheryl worked, we were both making money on the back end of it. And that was kind of the start. And after about a year of that, we decided it was time to get out of California and move back to the South. My wife is from Houston. And so we picked Austin, Texas. So we're close enough to New Orleans to drive in a day. We're, a couple hours from her family, but we're in a place where people really appreciate their health. People are active, people are fit. So we kind of chose this place based on the type of clinic that we were going to build. So that's kind of it in a nutshell of kind of what started and got us to Austin. And then we opened our place from here in 2005. We got here in 2004, opened up in 2005. So this will be our 15-year anniversary on tax day, April 15th.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is an awesome story. I don't know if you were listening, ACG. He got fired. And there's always a reason behind it, guys. If you are watching right now, Alternative Careers Group, whether you're a PT, OT, speech, a CODA, PTA, whatever, if you got fired right now, there's a reason behind it. And use that encouragement, use that test to become a testimony. Stephen's story is actually an awesome testimony. He got a big test there. That was a big test. But now it's just a big testimony. And I can't imagine 8 months of looking for a job. I'm just assuming you're still single that time. So it was probably good. But irregardless, if you don't have any job right now, if you're watching right now, ACG, if you don't have a job right now, if you got fired just like me a month ago, and you can find a job, this is the perfect time to find something that you are really passionate about. And I'm sure Stephen was passionate about building a business there, and he built that business around his passion. So remember the 4 P's, guys. Remember the 4 P's: passion, your purpose, productivity. Yes, you need to be productive, whether you're in the therapy world or not, or business world. You need to be productive, and last will be your profit. And that's what Stephen is doing right now. He's got all 4 P's: his passion, his purpose, his productivity. And now he's profitable when it comes to his business. So thank you for that inspiration, Stephen. Before we keep going, you mentioned the word reformer. The only reason why I know that word reformer, because you explained it to me when we last May when I saw you. So guys, if you have any questions, comment on the chat box. Any questions? If you're from Texas, comment that you're in Texas. So can you tell us, Stephen, what is a reformer, and how much is it? And then how much is the investment for me to be a Pilates instructor and stuff like that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, a reformer is pretty much the main piece of Pilates equipment. So it's called a Pilates reformer. It was invented in the 1920s and the patent was in 1927. So it's been around a long, long time. And so I always like to tell people that Pilates is as old as the physical therapy profession.
Just like
kind of gets a perspective.
I was going to say just like you, man, but no.
So that's what a reformer is. There's also a piece called a trap table or a Cadillac, and there's chairs and barrels. There's other Pilates machines as well. But the reformer is the main one that it's kind of like a total gym is a knockoff of a reformer. It's like a little different than a reformer. A reformer is flat and uses springs. A total gym is at a different angle to create the resistance, but they're pretty similar. You can do hundreds and hundreds of exercises on a Pilates reformer. So like, instead of going to a gym, like I don't need a whole gym to train anybody. I can use the reformer, the trap table, the gyrotonic equipment, or I can just pick one of those pieces and I can spend a whole hour training someone on it. And anything that someone does in the gym, I can reproduce on my equipment here. It's not going to be necessarily the exact same thing, but we'll be recruiting the exact same muscles, but I'll be making them breathe and focus on their core and their shoulder blade position and other things as well. So back to your question, the price of a reformer, if you get a unit that's for a commercial space to be used daily, all day, like the ones we have, they're made out of wood. They are, I've had them for 15 years and they look brand new. They have lasted this entire time. I've changed I've had the vinyl changed out once, and I've changed their springs about every 2 years, and they use springs for resistance. And the ones I bought, they were about $2,500 at the time. Now they've gone up in price, and so they're probably more like around $3,500 to $4,000, depending on, again, how fancy you want to get it and whatnot. You can also get home version reformers that are way less expensive, in the $600 or $700 range. However, that's not one I wouldn't use that with a client and advertise that I'm doing Pilates with them, because it's like a home QVC version of it. And then there's some metal versions that are, I don't really know the pricing offhand, but they're not cheap, but they're probably around $2,000 to $2,500. for a metal version instead of the wood version that will certainly last a long, long time. But that's kind of the investment in the equipment. They're about, it's not cheap, but it will last a long time, and it resells very well. I could sell my reformer for more than I actually paid for it because the value because they're selling them now for so much more. So, and the certification process to actually get certified. So I'm certified through something called the Pilates Method Alliance. They're like the governing body of Pilates. That certification process is to get certified teaching mat work, teaching on the reformer, all of the equipment. That's around anywhere from like $4,500 to $5,000 is about the cost of what that is. But I like to always tell the story of my wife. She got certified with me when I got certified back in 2002. And she had a degree from LSU, a marketing degree, that she paid quite a bit of money for and took 4 years to get. In 8 months, she spent back then it was probably like $3,500. She spent $3,500 for her Pilates certification, and now she's charging $130 an hour for teaching. And she's not a PT. That's just her and teaching Pilates. So that $5,000 investment can really bring in quite a bit of income. Again, she's built up from that. We started her about $75, and now she's built up to $130 an hour that she's charging when she trains a client. And
that's
so
PT's rate already.
Yeah, totally. So that's kind of what we've built. And now she's trained. So we've now trained the people that come in and work for us so they can get certified with us, and she'll train those people. And then we hire them and they work for us, and we charge less for them. We charge $87 for a private Pilates session, and we charge $127 for my wife because she's the master trainer.
Trainer.
That's kind of a lowdown of like equipment costs, some training costs, and it's kind of like PT school. You go get trained anywhere that offers a Pilates training, just like you go to any PT school. And then you go take what's called the Pilates Method Alliance exam, which is like taking the NPTE exam or whatever those initials are. And then once you pass that exam, that's that acronym that you read on the back of my name, that certified Pilates teacher. So you can go to school anywhere and get the training anywhere. You just have to meet a certain number of required hours, and then you go take that exam. And that exam was designed by physical therapists who are also Pilates instructors. So it's basically designed to keep patients safe, clients safe, so that if someone shows up with osteoporosis, someone shows up with a herniated disc, that a Pilates instructor has an understanding of what those things are. They're not going to diagnose it. They're not going to treat it, but they're going to know what to avoid. They're going to know what to not do if someone has osteoporosis, etc.
Amazing. You already mentioned the rates. So a lot of our friends, members in this group, they want to know what's the current rate. So for your wife, she's not a PT, right?
She's not a PT.
This ACG. Listen to this ACG. Stephen is a PT, but Stephen's wife is not a PT. And she charges $135 per client. If she can do it, I know she's really knowledgeable when it comes, she's the master trainer, but if she can do it, so can you, ACG. All you need to do is just take action, get the necessary certification, and you dive on it. All you need to do is follow somebody who's wanting to do this. Obviously, I'm not going to do this, but that's the reason why we have several coaches out here, and I've been seeing a lot of people asking, hey, I'm a yoga instructor, Pilates instructor, but I haven't gotten any clients yet. Stephen is here to guide you, teach you how to learn how to market yourself, how to promote yourself, and how to actually get your certification. Is that correct, Stephen? Correct.
Yes. It's the steps of, how do you go through the process of getting certified? I certify people in Austin, but it's in-house. And so I advise people on how they get certified where they're at. For example, I have a guy that just moved to Austin about 3 months ago to work with me. He was living in New York City. I basically started mentoring him, teaching him on how to go through the entire process so that by the time he was ready to move here and work with me, that he was already trained and certified and ready to go. So I basically mentored him through the whole process. And through that, I was able to kind of figure out what people needed to know to go through the steps. And he was my first case study that I was able to basically create some marketing program around. But that's the fun, is taking people that don't know anything about Pilates and how you can walk them through the process. And now he's working for me instead of doing something on his own. But guess what I'm going to be doing with him? A profit sharing thing with him, just like I did with my my first gig. So after he works with me for a year, which he's already 3 months in, we'll be setting up a profit sharing or some kind of buy-in. So he'll actually be a part owner of Core, or he'll be a part owner of all the business that he creates at Core. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look, but that's the setup. That he's my first great case study, because I prepared him to basically come work for me. When he got here, he was ready to go. I didn't have to train him at all. He was able to come and start doing his thing immediately. But that's the thing. It's like, how do you go and get certified? How do you go find those things locally, or what's the cheapest option for you to travel? And the reality is that Pilates is my thing. But if you're into yoga, if you're into, personal fitness, personal training, it doesn't have to be Pilates. It's a matter of, how do you take your PT practice and turn it into a cash practice where people will stay in your world for a long time, not just when they're in PT. So that when I see a patient and I move them over to my Pilates instructor, and they go from seeing my Pilates instructor from private lessons into group classes, they'll stick around my studio for years. I've had a client for 15 years. She's been a client the entire time we've been open, and she sees me for PT when she's hurt, but she takes 2 or 3 classes a week. And by taking 2 or 3 classes a week, she's given me thousands and thousands of dollars. I calculated at one time it was over $65,000 for one client. And it's because I've created a space that it's not just about PT. It's not just when you're hurting, see me. It's a matter of, now that you're not hurting, these classes are going to keep you moving forward. And there's the wellness side of it. And that's the side that keeps people excited about coming to see me for PT, because they know I'm going to move them over to a wellness side and not just try to keep them seeing me forever. And that's really the plan and the style of clinic we've created. And it's really fun. It's really fun to know these people for years. I've had relationships with people for so long that when they come back in, maybe I hadn't seen them in 3 years, because not everyone does the group classes. Let's be honest. Maybe I haven't seen someone in 3 years. They show up. It's like, we talk like it's been a few months, because I've developed some strong relationships. And these people will come in, they'll see me, they'll see my trainer for a month or two, and then they fall off the wagon, they go to their life, and then as soon as they're injured, they come right back in and start the process again. But some stick around for a long, long time. And it's a wellness, it's a place that people want to come. Like, PT is a lot of times a grudge purchase, right? Well, we've created a community that people actually want to be here. They call our studio, they call it Cheers without the beers. Back to the old 80s show, right? The 90s show.
I don't
Cheers.
watch that. I don't even know what that
that was before you were born, dude.
Hey, I still watch it, man.
But that's
What's her name? Melinda?
I don't remember any of the names. Big Norm was one. I remember Big Norm.
Good morning or good evening, and then everybody would shout Norm.
Yes, exactly. But the fact that someone calls my physical therapy and Pilates practice a bar like Cheers, but they say it's a lot healthier than going to drink, we're actually coming to get healthy and move. So it's really fantastic. And so us creating this alternative PT model back in 2002 has really paid dividends now. And I decided to go cash back in election year 2016, because I didn't want the election to determine if I was going to be able to continue to do my business or not. I'd already lost my job once back in 98 over political signatures. And so I did not want that to happen again. And that's why I went cash in 2016, because I said, I got 11 months until the election, because no matter who wins, it could change drastically. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But in 11 months, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm not losing my job ever again. And it didn't happen then. And in January, when the Medicare cuts hit, the 8% cuts hit, like, that hasn't affected my business at all. because I don't deal with that. It's just it's not in my world. So as a lot of my friends and colleagues are losing their jobs or getting their hours cut, because of me losing my job in 98 and making the decisions I made in 2001, and then to get certified in Pilates in 2002, I'm in a place now that no matter what's happening out there in the political landscape, the healthcare landscape, I've got it worked out. I've got people coming in to see me. I've got systems in place. People are coming. People are showing up. And it's really fun. And I can't believe I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I'm at a place where it's still very, very fun. But it's because I did all those things. And if I wouldn't have, I would hate this. I would hate this profession, and I would have left it. I would have done something different. But I am super grateful that I lost my job in 98, because losing my job in 98 led to everything that is to come, that has happened since. And at the time it sucked and I hated it, and I was depressed. I was staying up to 3 a.m. every night and drinking too much and sleeping till noon or 1 in the afternoon every day.
Are you talking about me or talking about you?
That's what I did when I lost my job for those 8 months. It was miserable. I hated it. So
I know, right?
I was like,
you feel that,
never letting that happen again. So.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that, Stephen. I really appreciate you. So if you are still watching ACG, Alternative Careers Group, I like what Stephen said. There is always a reason behind that. And he got fired, but he didn't take the easy route. If you take it easy today, life will be hard tomorrow. If you take it hard now, do the hard thing now, it'll be easy tomorrow. And that's what Stephen did. He did the hard thing then before. Now it's easy now. Everything is smooth sailing. He's got everything in place. There's system and everything. So if you are interested in starting your own Pilates practice, this is the perfect time. He's got a beta course that is coming out. Is it still in beta or you relaunched it?
I did the beta course last fall. So this is the launch of season 1.
So he's launching his season 1 now. Learn from other people. If you really want to be financially independent, guess what? Who are you going to follow? You're going to follow somebody who's financially independent. If you want to follow a Pilates instructor, obviously you follow a Pilates instructor. If you want to follow a dementia quote unquote expert, obviously you don't follow me. You follow Tipa Snow, right? But you can follow me too. Same thing here. If you want to learn and start your own Pilates practice, follow Stephen Dunn. I'm going to share his website and just so you know what he does and what his clinic looks like and everything. So this is his website or his business here, Core Therapy Pilates. I don't know if you guys are seeing his website right now. And this is his team. That's him there, Stephen. That's his wife, Cheryl, and that's Andy. He's one of the PT/OT/Pilates instructor. And you got all the other instructors here. And they are rocking it. And if they can do it, it doesn't have to be big. Stephen will share to you how you're going to start renting a small space in a gym. And using that skills and leverage that you have right now. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Reach out to Stephen, ask him some questions on how to start, and join his group. Do you have a group, Stephen? Can you share?
I have a Facebook page. It's not a group. It's just a page that you can go like, and it's www.facebook.com/Pilates for PTs.
Pilates for PTs. Yes. But you don't have to be a PT, right?
No, I've got Pilates instructors. I've got acupuncturists watching in there, because really what I'm teaching and what I'm talking about is applicable for a PT doing a Pilates business. But it's really it's business. It's how you can apply. It's really what anyone can learn from this. My niche is obviously Pilates, and that's how I've built my thing. But what I'm teaching people is stuff that really anyone can learn from. But it's how to do it from a fitness side. But I have a few fitness trainers. I have a girl that's an acupuncturist she's actually my neighbor in the building right next to me. We refer back and forth to. She's been watching it. Some PTs, some OTs. But yeah, that's been that's where it's a free group. And I go in once a week with a Facebook Live there, put out content. And that's position. And that's a place where you can start asking questions and just kind of see what I have going on.
Before we keep going, I just want to say hello to those people watching. Hey, Matthew, thank you very much for watching. What's going on, Ray? I was just talking to you earlier. Kobe, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, so whoever is watching right now. So I just wanted to say hi and hello. And then on your course, Stephen, or whatever, program you're launching, are you going to teach, how to start your LLC, what software to use, where to get all the equipments? Are you going to guide us how to do that?
I don't go into the LLC part because I mean, I can certainly answer questions individually on that, but I don't go into that in the pre-recorded course because I've learned depending on your state, it's a little bit different. When I started my business in California, I had to be an S corporation because I had a license. I don't know if that's still the case now as it was then. But in Texas, I'm a professional corporation instead of a LLC. So I think it's very different. So I don't really go into those details, but I go into how do you get certified? How do you find a place locally to get certified? The history of Pilates, the equipment, the definitions, the marketing, the systems, the community that you build. How do you grow, get people from Facebook and online, but also how do you get people from offline? And by being involved, for us, I sponsor Little League Baseball, and by sponsoring Little League Baseball and having my name on the back of jerseys, it's a way for us out in the community that people come in and say, yeah, I'm doing business with you because of what you do, because you're a sponsor for Little League Baseball, and my son plays in Little League Baseball. So we just kind of go over a little bit of all of that. And then what I do is I have a Facebook group, a private group for the people that are in the course, and I do one Facebook Live for 6 weeks, basically, a Facebook Live to kind of summarize the module of the week, but also go into deep dives on mindset, my systems, my website, basically all the things of how I run my business. If someone is interested in getting my funnels, I'm going to tell them how to get access to my funnels and start kind of funnel hacking and looking and seeing how my funnels might be able to be of value to them. All those things. So, and then I do power calls. They get 2 power calls with the course as well, where depending on what's going on with them and their specific situation, we can try to help them move it forward. And it's been really fun, like coaching. I had 7 people sign up for my beta course, and coaching those people through that was really fun. And what I realized is it is as exciting as seeing patients. I never thought I would find something that got me as excited or I loved as much as just treating patients. But when I'm in a room or on a call like this with 5 or 6 people, 7 people that just want to keep getting better and learn, it's pretty awesome. And so I really enjoy the teaching part, and I've been doing it long enough, and I've learned from my mistakes. I've learned what works, what doesn't work, that it's really just kind of fun. It's just like having a conversation. But what I used to do a lot, Mike, was I used to tell people, they would call me, they would text me, and I'd give them 5-minute answers. I'd give them 10-minute answers. I'd give them 20-minute answers, but that wasn't enough. And so this course is basically all the questions I've got from all those people. It's the questions I got from Andy on how he needed to get certified and the process. And then it's all just put in one place, so it makes it easy to find and easy to go through. But it's really been a fun process, and I really enjoy it. And that's what I love about having Andy here, because now I can focus more on helping therapists grow their business, not just helping my patients with pain here in Austin.
I think, and that's how we grow, actually. So thank you for doing this. And just to let you know, ACG Alternative Careers Group, it is very rare that we find people who are willing to share their success in business. And I don't know about you. If you're watching right now, ACG, comment, whatever you're doing right now, just comment whatever there. But when I was starting as a therapist, the majority of the therapists that I know admit they don't even want to share information. I don't know if that was, Stephen, when you were starting up. Yeah. There were not a lot of therapists wanting to share the tips how to be successful in the business. And nothing against my group when I was starting here in the States. I would ask them, hey, how can I start a clinic? Nobody. Yeah. They don't even, it's so hard. Don't even attempt to do it, Michael. I'm like, I want to know. And they're like, oh, no, it's so hard, the credentialing, Michael. Now we've got all these people in our group, in Alternative Careers group, coaches, and wanting to teach us how to start our own practice and actually rooting for your success. Because when you become successful, they become successful too. And that's the reason why I've been trying to pull all these coaches in our group. And that way, everybody becomes successful in this Alternative Careers group. So again, thank you very much, Stephen. I really appreciate you for coming over. Thank you very much for being a coach here in our group. And if you have any questions with regards to Pilates or whatever, starting a business, reach out to Stephen. He's going to be here. He's going to be doing some Facebook Lives, teaching how to market yourself as a Pilates instructor and just be the best. So any last parting wisdom from an awesome Stephen Dunn?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we're in a point where our profession is really on a brink of unknown, and it's up to us to set ourselves in the position to succeed, because no one else is going to do it for us. No one else is going to do it for us. And so you got to fight and do it. And it's not all fun and glory. There's been some hassles, man. I've been at the grocery store. When I went cash about 8 months into it, there was a time when I was at the grocery store and I didn't have $50 in my business account or my personal account. And it was scary. And I had to put the groceries back and tell them I'd see them tomorrow. Hopefully I had the money in the bank tomorrow. And so I've been through some times through this process just recently. That was only a few years ago. But you got to do something to take control and you be in charge of your own destiny. And everyone that's telling you can't do it, those are the people you need to stop hanging out with. And you need to be around the people that are going to build you up, the people that are going to support you, the people that are going to encourage you, and the people that are going to, and it's a lot of times it's your best friends and your family that are going to crush your dreams and try to bring you down. So I think it's important to stay true to yourself, but also know that you're not going to have a lot of support when you do it from your immediate circle. So that's where it's important to have these kind of circles.
Amen. I could have said it much better. All right. So thank you very much, Stephen. I love what he said there. I love what he said. Even your own family will tell you can't do this. Yeah. Even actually, no offense to your spouses, guys, ACG, even probably your own wife, your own husband will tell you this is not a good idea. But sometimes you have to put your foot down. You have to, take hold of your destiny. So before I let you go, thank you very much, Stephen. Before I let you go, guys, always remember the word FAST, F-A-S-T. F, Stephen already said it, find friends that will push you to your next level, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Right now, you're hanging out with me and Stephen and the rest of our ACG group and our coaches. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Who are your friends right now? Who are your friends? Add Stephen as your friend, add me as your friend. Well, I got too much friends, but follow me in Facebook or whatever. And, just find friends that will push you to your next level. What's the next letter on the FAST word? Letter A. You got to learn how to take action. Stop analyzing. A lot of us, I know, because we're therapists. We like to analyze. I don't know about you. I'm a therapist. We like to analyze. Let's get the numbers right. Stop analyzing, guys, and take action. That's what Stephen did. For 8 months, he can't find a job. He was analyzing. He could have started his Pilates thing when that first call happened, but he analyzed it. But what happened? He took action. And that's the key there, taking action, whether it's a small action, a big action, take action, guys. Reach out to Stephen, how to start your own Pilates practice. What's the next letter? Letter S. What's the next letter? Letter S. Shoot for the moon. Keep shooting it. Keep shooting it. Kobe Bryant kept on shooting it. Oh, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I hate you for going, Kobe. But keep shooting it, guys. Because why? When you keep on shooting and you're eventually going to miss it, you're going to be eventually landing with the stars. And last but not the least, letter T. Teach it. That's what Stephen is doing. He's teaching us. He's going to teach you how to start your Pilates practice. Why? Because when you're teaching it, you're going to understand it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're understanding it more. And that's what Stephen is doing. He's understanding it more. So reach out to him and just do the fasting. All right. Thank you very much, Stephen. Any last parting words aside from that awesome thing that you said earlier?
You know, I want to sum it up with how life is so interesting. The guy that hung up on me, he ended up showing up at my office 5 years later looking for a job.
It's funny, right?
And I gave him a job. And I said, dude, you're the guy that hung up on me. And he goes, what? I said, you used to own a clinic in Lake Tahoe in Incline Village, huh? He goes, yeah. I said, you hung up on me. And the only reason this place exists was because you hung up on me. And he couldn't believe it. He remembered it, but he couldn't believe it. And then I said, would you like to have a job? Because I was happy to have him, because how often is someone going to walk into my door that knows what the hell Pilates and gyrotonic is? He knew what both of them were, was trained in both of them. So, and then the reason he wanted to call me is because he was trying to sell his clinic, because he went to get his PhD and then he moved to Austin to teach. And then he got a job teaching at the PT school here in town. And he's the head dog at the PT school now. But it's so great that the guy that hung up on me, and how many people would have hired the guy that hung up on him? I don't know. I tell people that story. A lot of my friends are like, I wouldn't have hired that guy. I was so happy to hire him, because if it weren't for him, this place wouldn't have existed. And that was kind of my confirmation that all this was worth it. This was like, you know, when he's showing up looking for a job from me, the guy that he hung up on, that's a win.
Oh, wow. You're a good man. You're a good man. Well, I guess I should hang up on you so you could hire me.
I love it.
Well, anyway, before I'm going to just try to beat that, you know, the best revenge is a massive success. And that's what Stephen did. The best revenge is a massive success. Again, thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you very much, ACG. I appreciate you. I wish you all the best, and be awesome, be great, be excellent. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And you have a good night, ACG. Thank you.
All right, bye, guys.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our website at drmikechua.com or alternativehealthcarecareers.com for more information. Again, ACG, be awesome, be great, be excellent. Thank you, and hope to see you on our next episode. Goodbye.